all there is to
Come
it.
to do a radio show, get cheesecake.
It's true. It's true.
Different studio.
I like this studio. It's
You do?
brighter.
I got
It's
the
brighter.
short chair, and I'm
It's
already
still
short.
just talking.
Great.
All right, we got 21 seconds.
Well, actually, that clock might be a few seconds off.
I got it.
You hear the music? Get ready to go.
All right, when I hear the music, we're going. Okay, we're going.
Moe's Guitars is the proud sponsor of Girls Talk Rock. Over 35 years of helping girls and guys rock. Moe's Guitars, M-O-Z-E, guitars.com.
Oh,
Welcome to Girls Talk Rock, where the musician's creativity finds its voice. And here are your hosts, Tracey Smith and Beth Enos.
hey Tracey!
What's up, Beth?
I'm ready to rumble. We're having an awesome evening planned ahead, so hold on to your horses, folks. Good times. Good
All
fun.
right.
Yeah. I am. I am. Oh.
There we go.
I just
Now-
said yes to a man twice, and that just happened.
Run with the big
I want to run with the
dogs.
big dogs. That's why we're here with Roni Lee and Lori Lewis.
Lori Bubby Lewis.
That's why we're here, baby.
Ronnie Lee.
Hey, girls.
Wow. Let's get this show started.
Let's do it. Let's get rolling.
I'm not even worried about saying this is WS Radio, the worldwide leader in internet talk. I'm not even worried about saying California Music Studios. I'm not even worried about saying Moe's
Moe's.
Guitar.
Moe's
I'm not
Guitars.
even worried about saying Mike Ruggiello.
Rouge yellow.
Oh, we got
I
a
like the
contest.
sound of that.
We got a contest going on. We're going to tell you a little bit about that a little bit later in the show. But for now, let's just roll with this because we are.
By the way, Moe's Guitars is my favorite. I have a cabinet on layaway right there, down there right now. They're so cool because they let me come in, pick stuff out, pay them as I go, drag it home with me sometime. They're just great guys. I love those guys.
Yeah, they've
That's
been
my
in
pick.
business
That's
40
my
years,
pick.
and then that's how they rock and that's how they roll.
That's right,
We
baby.
love Moe's.
I love Moe's.
Excellent. All right, well, let's just get right down to it. All right, so now,
Let's tell our audience who we've got here.
how often do we get to talk to two of the biggest female rockers in the biz?
I know it's really a blessing because they're right here in San Diego.
Ooh, that's a lot to
today.
live up to.
Well, you guys have lived
In
up
this
to it.
room.
and
How
so
about
that's
that?
what's so
In
nice.
this room.
In this room right
on
now.
my block. I think maybe on
In
my
your block. Okay,
My
For sure
neighborhood.
on your block, knowing your block.
Absolutely my neighborhood.
Yeah.
that's cool. So, our first question, we're going to get right down to it.
Yes.
Being a woman in a so-called man's world, were you treated good, bad, or as an equal coming up?
Lori Lewis, Lori B.B. Lewis, Lori B.B. Lewis
It's a
Esquire.
long darn name.
I like it. It works.
It is. I mean, only one. Indifferent at times, good at times, bad at times. Which band and which era? That would be the question. Because, starting in the music business, it was like, being a girl, because I was very young when I started, it was like, oh, if you have a girl in the band, you're going to make it. That's the great thing. There were a lot of women that were doing a lot of big things back in the 60s and 70s. You had the Grace Slick and the Janis Joplin and help me with this Ronnie. Quite a few women were.
That would be it. Yeah.
There
That would be it. The two that we remember.
there were quite, and I come from that Michigan band scene, so touring with people like Alice Cooper and Ted Nugent and, a ton of groups. And so, being kind of a young fledgling artist, there was a lot of, mentorship going on. But as I got on my own a little bit later, I really felt more like I was like the eye candy in the band, and that whole vibe.
Well, that's a really interesting comment you make because I'm sure there's a lot of listeners right now, young women, middle-aged women, older women. We experience this every day. You're going out there with your talent, with your original art or cover or tribute. You're playing at a casino somewhere, and you want to be a good artist. And but the guys are out there in jeans and a t-shirt, and you're feeling I gotta live up to this image here. How do you feel that that's changed for you both? Do you feel like you are in maturing over the years? Do you feel like you're less obligated to that, or do you feel like the pressure is on even higher?
Well, my experience was completely different than Lori's because I was a girl guitar player. So I wasn't even, wouldn't even discuss letting me in the band. I got to roadie, kinda, hang out, stare at them. The way I learned how to play guitar was watching people play guitar, because of course we didn't have very many other venues. And then I put the needle on the record, and I just learned how to play. And I got fired from my first 2 bands, and I started out at 15, and I went from there, and I joined a band. Actually, what taught me how to play guitar, I joined a show band in Reno, because they wanted girls, but then they would dress us up in Frederick's outfits. I had a flying V and a Marshall stack, and I had to wear a wig because I had Rod Stewart hair, quote unquote, and it was poking out too much. So it was called April Ames and the Dames, and we wore this ridiculous clothing and stuff. And they're still all my friends on Facebook, and we reminisce quite often, and it's pretty funny.
Sounds like a Halloween costume.
Oh, it was, but we made great money, and I was able to buy a lot of great guitars and learn. I learned how to play guitars. It was all-girl band, and back then, all-girl bands would accept us, but pretty much nobody else. Yeah. Things have changed a whole lot, and they've also changed not at all in some ways. There's a lot more women playing, but whenever I ask someone, name a female guitarist who fronts her own band, writes her own music, plays lead and rrhythm.
I can name like about 2.
It's like great Jeopardy.
But I can name
Yeah, but
2
most of them-
that are nowadays.
Most of people, everybody goes to Lita Ford.
Right.
She is one.
Orianthe.
Although she does have Orianthe, true. She's about the only other one that I can think that's super, that people will just a household name. So it's still not very common, and I still get a lot of pats on the head from boys till I'm done playing. But then, it's okay. Part of it is, you know what? We are different. And sex, drugs, and rock and roll, that saying did not come about just out of fairy tale land. Sex sells rock and roll.
Right.
It is part of rock and roll. I have a song called Heroes, and it talks about a guy in black spandex. We all love David Lee Roth. Their band opened for me at the Whiskey when they were first starting out, when they were a Pasadena band in LA. And David Lee Roth was a magnetic personality on and off stage, and he looked fantastic in those pants. And I did not really care if he was singing great or not. I just enjoyed the ambiance of what he was doing. So.
I actually saw the picture when you were riding on his back, which was hilarious.
Yes.
So,
I got to. We monkeyed around a lot backstage because it was all about getting up, and it was back then at that time period, and it still is. I just can't wrestle as much as I used to, but it was very important to get up for the gig. Very important to get energized,
right.
Because if I wasn't energized, then the audience wasn't energized. Then performance was a big deal to me. It still is. I'm a performer.
Yeah.
So not everybody is a performer. That's my thing. So.
And just one more thing is being from that Michigan situation. We had Susie Quattro, and there was quite a few women. There was a group called Coven. They did that. Go ahead and hate your neighbor, cheat your friend. I can't remember.
Right.
One tin
soldier. Yeah.
Right. Yes. And women in a way, like my sister and I played in the same band. We had a band called Pitch Blend. And even to this day, we're kind of this underground group that has got a lot of notoriety. My sister was the bass player, and of course, she was the one that always got the "you're really good for a girl" bass player.
I still get it. I got it.
Right on.
I got it 2 days ago.
Yeah.
But I got it from somebody who meant really well, and I tried to read people's hearts on that. If they're being a jerk, I can take them down in a second.
Yeah, exactly.
But normally they just means, no, really, you really are good for a girl. Thank you.
Yeah. So my sister got that a lot, and she despised that. And
Right.
but women were really more of a novelty back in the Michigan era. And so, here we are touring with these amazing groups, Bob Seger, all these groups, and still, my sister and I, just this little novelty thing that was going on, and maybe it was different out here on the West Coast. I don't know.
No, of course not. Everybody, women musicians have always been a novelty, and we still are. And people still look at me and go, "I can't believe you can play like that." People always say, "Where did you learn how to play?" I go, "I learned how to play the same place everybody else learned how to play in 1978." We all learned the same way. There was only one way to do it,
And hard work.
And hard work.
And
I spent a
yeah.
long time. I don't give lessons anymore because most people aren't willing to put the time in. I spent my whole social life, or what there wasn't of it, in a room playing my guitar. I played it every day. I played it in the morning. I played it at night.
Well, that brings me to a question for both of you guys, because both you guys have kids, and we were wondering about.
No, she doesn't have kids.
No, although you don't. Sorry,
Yeah.
Lori.
Yeah. She has a husband.
Sorry, Lori.
Same thing.
She's
I have a
got
cat.
dogs and cats. I'm sorry. No, but for you,
Just
Ronnie.
saying happy for you
Being a mother, besides being a musician, what was that like? I mean, how
Well,
did your kids react? to all this?
Interestingly, I got an email from a fan today, and he said, "I can't believe you." He said all these nice things, and he goes, "Why haven't I heard of you?" I said, "Because I took 20 years to raise my kids."
Yeah.
There's some things that are just more important. I'm getting ready to do Roni Lee's Rock Tips. If you can find that on my website, RoniLeeGroup.com. And I do talk about things about the music business because it's not like music isn't everything. It's just part of who you are. And
Right.
some things are actually more important than music, believe it or not. And I didn't think I'd ever find myself saying that when I was a kid. But now that I've had this life and I look back, of course there are. You know, my children, for instance, were very much more important. And since I've been a single mom most of the time, I couldn't travel. I tried to. I had a nanny. I was in Norway one time, and I'm like, this is not working. And I came back and I moved. I did not quit playing, but I didn't tour. I didn't.
You recalibrated to your
Yeah,
situation?
I just did what people do when they take that kind of responsibility on. You know, in music business, you need, like in anything, you just need to be an ethical person. You need to do the right thing, no matter if people are doing the right thing back to you or not. So, the right thing to me, you know, it's not to me. This is not subjective. If you have kids, take care of your kids.
Men
okay?
and women.
Men and women.
Well,
Well,
we-
especially
yeah,
men,
women
to be quite honest with you. But I mean, because in music, the stereotype is, you know, you get the girl, you leave her at home, you got on the road, you got other girls, and then you come back and visit your kids and your wife once in a while. And that happens a lot, and I'm sorry, but it does. But the flip side doesn't. Women don't do that nearly as much. I'm not going to say they don't. I know, I can think of one right now that does. I won't say her name, but email me. But, you know, so of course, there's exceptions, but for the most part, women don't do that in the music business. It's just too hard.
And yet you landed on your feet and you're
Well,
getting ready to go to Germany.
here's
and
what
go on
happens.
tour.
Here's what happens to kids. They grow up.
They grow up.
It's weird.
Hold that
So-
thought, because we're going to our first commercial break,
Yeah.
I think. I'm not hearing my music, so maybe we're not. Are we
need
off?
that. It's a good
Okay, so
thing.
keep going. All right, so sorry about that. We'll be taking a break in just a minute. But
Yeah.
so that's interesting, because when guys are huge rock stars, most of the time they don't stop to not go on tour. They don't stop to not think about their kids. They just don't take it into consideration, because usually there's a woman at home who's watching their children.
Well,
or
and
whatever.
it's a fair situation because you
Right.
have a parent at home, and that's a different scenario. See, I'm a single parent, so I got divorced quite a while ago, 15 years ago, and you know, it wasn't a situation where there was shared anything. So it was me. That was my situation. Now I know a lot of wonderful guys that spend a lot of time for their kids, and in fact, I've known men who have not gone to some very significant events and some significant shows that would do a lot of things for them because they wanted to stay home with their kids. So works
All right.
both ways.
That's perfect. That's a good segue now. When we come back from this commercial break, we're gonna kind of talk to these guys about what advice they give to the younger up and coming musicians and artists, and you know, when it comes to family versus you know, doing their music career. We'll be right back in like 3 minutes.
Actually, we're gonna come back in one.
And one.
In 1 minute, we're coming back.
Oh, you know.
What's the email here? GS what?
No,
Actually, we'll make it
WSRadio.com.
two.
Check, a woman.
Yeah, a couple of minutes.
Figure out your pocket.
Couple of
I'll
minutes,
see
all
you.
right,
Like if you go to like
It says 150, is that right?
Sausage fest, you know, it's like
Right.
like men and like it's
Okay.
women.
Sorry, things are a
And then
bit.
when you have a-
When I hear the music, I'll come back.
Pop or whatever. You think they would want that?
So,
because it's
are you sending another one?
bad though, right?
Ronnie?
One thing I didn't really get a chance to say is, you know, Ronnie's has
talking?
always gone through having
Are you
to
I just
sending?
sent you the title track, Heroes.
Okay.
put up there to be this great guitar player. You know, but the girl singing thing is really, in a way, a lot of the same thing. I mean, nobody ever says you sing good for a girl, but the thing is that a lot of women in a lot of bands are very mediocre
girl record.
singers. They're, you know, they're just okay. And so, you know, I never want to be compared to just like, well, we just have a girl in the band because she looks pretty and she's got great breasts and she dresses hot. And, you know, I didn't want to be
yeah, that's
that girl.
right.
So for me, it was like, you know, to walk in there and then, oh, you look great, and then all of a sudden I would open my mouth and then there'd be a voice, you know.
And then they'd say, "Wow, she can really sing."
Right, exactly.
There's always been there's a parting of the
always
sea
has been.
between the people that can play. when girls that can play
And sing.
and sing,
And the ones that just look
and the
good.
ones that are there. Same
Eye
with
candy,
guys, but
you know.
but for women, there's a bigger
Yeah,
separation.
and I've gone through the same kind of things that Ronnie's gone through. Nobody's ever said. I was just telling them that nobody's ever said to me,
I'm listening.
"You're a good singer for a girl."
No,
that
because
doesn't
girls are
happen.
singers,
But
and that guy. But because I started as a
but
guitar player, they wanted me to
difference
sing.
between being a good
I think
singer.
we're coming back in like 20 seconds.
17, 16, 15.
Well, if that's right, it's
Is
gonna
it
be close.
correct? Wait, are we on the timer correct? Yeah?
Yeah. Give or take. All right, I got it.
Awesome.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, good.
You want to pull that track in there and then I'll do this.
Oh, do you have one on the next one? Okay, let me get everything
Moe's Guitars is the proud sponsor of Girls Talk Rock. Over 35 years of helping girls and guys rock. Moe's Guitars, M-O-Z-E, guitars.com.
Hey, Brad.
Welcome to Girls Talk Rock, where the musician's creativity finds its voice. And here are your hosts, Tracey Smith and Beth Venus.
And we are back. Thank you so much, CCMA, Beth.
That's right, Studio CCMA. We're in North County, and you know what? I'm so. Was one of the reasons I'm so happy to have these wonderful ladies here because they're into girls rocking, and when they say
That's
girls,
right.
they mean women and
That's right.
girls and young adults and all the getting the ladies involved. So
That's right.
Gurlz. I like that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, you know, I have a record label, Play Like a Girl Records. So
Right,
I should
right.
have ended the last thing with, it's kind of started to tongue in cheek, and I'm like, yeah, let's just call it what it is. And
Yeah.
and now we have a whole label with artists on it and everything like that. So
That is beautiful, and we are going to get into that in the third segment. But
Yeah.
I know, I'm
in
so
this
excited.
I
segment,
know.
we are actually going to talk about basically what our listeners, I think, want to know, and what our musicians even want to know if they're younger, are going to ask, what advice do seasoned players like yourself have for the younger, up-and-coming people, musicians right now, that they can do?
Because the scene is so different now,
It is. It's very
you
different.
know, even than 10 or 15 years ago.
Yeah, really being true to yourself and who you are, because there's so much music out there, and what I seem to be hearing a lot, so much, you turn on the radio, and I'm going to sound like my mother right now. I know I am.
Ew.
There you go.
But you turn on the radio and it just sounds like everybody has the same voice, and
Yes.
everybody, there's just this thing that just keeps on going, and you really need to be true to yourself. Now me, I'm very stylistic because I don't just sing rock. I sing blues, I sing pop, I sing gospel, I sing worship music, I sing jazz. So for me, I'm very versatile. I think the more versatile that you become, and this is my opinion as far as for who I am as an artist, because I did a lot of studio work in Chicago and in LA, so to have that ability to play all the different kinds of music, and so being true to yourself and who you are as an artist is, I think, so important.
And that's such a fine line because I think, we've talked to a lot of artists, and I'm in a studio up in North County. We work with a lot of artists.
And she's a musician and singer herself.
Of course, aren't we all? But it's like one of those things where that transcends. We all want to do what we love. But to do what we love, we have to satisfy a business.
Yes.
And part of satisfying that part of the business is deciding what you're willing or not willing to do, which sounds so naughty when I say it like that.
well,
But it
yeah.
really is about, I'm just curious from your standpoint now in your career, when you want to play, you're about to leave for Germany right now.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to play locally, if you're like, hey, I live in this area, I want to play locally, I want to play some good venues, or if you're going to go on a tour, how do you make those decisions?
I
on
have the
what to
answer.
do? Yeah.
Yes,
I
we
have
want to
the
hear
answer.
it. We want to hear it.
So we mentioned earlier, I have a thing called Roni Lee's Rock Tips because everybody gets together. I've done some band consulting, and I want to know. So sometimes the best way to teach somebody is to learn something yourself and go out there. Here's my opinion on that. And I use the fishing analogy, even though I don't fish. I don't think I ever have fished. I know nothing about fish whatsoever.
Cool.
So let's just say that.
Clarify that.
So let's say you buy a cabin and you're next to a lake. And the lake is a freshwater lake. But you want to catch what's not freshwater?
Shark.
You want to catch shark. And you're out there and you
Shark
throw your
dance.
line in. You go, this is a great cabin. I really like this. It really suits my living style.
Let's
I love
catch
this.
some shark.
I haven't caught, and so you get depressed. Why aren't the sharks biting my? Do they not like me? These sharks? I've got shark bait. I don't get this. I don't understand. I'm throwing things out here and playing the music. Doo-doo-doo-doo. They won't come. The problem is you're in the wrong place, trying to catch the wrong thing. So I tell bands, if you're good, now there's another aspect to this. If you kind of suck and you're starting out, the thing is to get good, okay? And you got to get good at your craft.
Yeah.
Let's assume that is the case and that you do well. I see people every day playing for the wrong demographic in the wrong place at the wrong time, and they want to make it in the place that they live because it just so happens they live there.
Right.
Well, I'm sorry. The kind of music, for instance, that I play, I'm a rocker. I'm not an all genre. I am exactly right here. This is what I do.
Exactly.
So if I'm, there's occasional things I can do here in the rock and roll genre, but not much,
No.
to be honest with you. So I go, and it's a hassle. It's a hassle to get on an airplane and drag equipment and find funding and go here and book this thing and call people. And it took me 2 years to get over to Germany. But I know what my demographic is and where I'll do well. I don't always get there, but I do know what it is.
Right.
So you have to be not lazy. You have to get
You hear
off
that,
your
people?
butt.
Do not be lazy.
But I'm serious. A lot of people feel like, well, I'm talented. If I sit here long enough, it's going to come
Yeah,
at
and
me.
somebody's
and
gonna
that's
come to
just
me, and it's not the case.
It's
the case.
It's not a magic bullet.
It can.
that
No.
comes
Somebody
no.
can walk across you. I mean, just like people can get discovered, models get discovered in,
Right.
trying on jeans at Macy's. But good luck with that.
Don't go to
Yeah,
Macy's
the-
if you want to be a
The
model.
day of discovery is very far between these days than back in the day when you could walk in somewhere and be amazing and be discovered.
The other thing is
It really
is
has
the
changed.
concept of making it has to be very, very, very much.
So subjective now.
It
Well,
very
well,
much
and,
is.
and because the business is changing, what exactly does that even mean anymore?
It means something different to everyone. That's the
Right,
thing.
that's the thing.
People say, well, what are you looking for? I go, it's not something I'm getting to. It's just a road I'm traveling. You have to understand that that's what music is. You're going to learn. You're going to take little deviations here and there. But if you think that you're just going to get somewhere, because guess what? If you do get to that point, then you got to stay there.
Right.
And that is stressful. And musicians, I find, time after time after time, are always striving. We're never happy in the moment that we're in.
Restless, yes.
And you got to fight that. You've got to have drive and initiative and goals, but you need to be happy in the thing that you're doing. And the reward cannot be stuff, because stuff may or may not come. But for me, it's playing with people I love playing with. It's recording music that I love to record.
Right.
And I do have other ways that I make money because I got to make a living. I have 3 kids, so sometimes you got to do that too.
That's right.
That's up to everybody. Not everybody agrees with that. Some people, no, I only make money with
I
music.
really do what I love and
Well,
my
and
passion.
I know you're endorsed by PRS Guitars, which is absolutely amazing, right?
And
I
Soldano
mean,
amplifiers as
so
well.
delicious.
Yes.
That's
PRS.
crazy. So
Yeah.
how does somebody young coming up that may be really good get some sort of an endorsement like that?
Endorsements are very difficult these days
Right.
because full rides, first instance, what they're called, are really, really difficult.
Right.
It just depends. A lot of times an endorsement can mean anything from, hey, we'll give you 10% off your guitars, but, we'll put you on our website, and anywhere down to we'll give you 90% off the guitars and we'll put you on our website. So I'm somewhere between the 90 and the 10, and I am on their website. So that was cool for me, and that helps. It's usually great to get that one foot in, and then it's a little easier to get others. Endorsements are difficult. They don't come by you searching them out yourself. The only way that I got them was people actually recommended me. And
Now, were you playing PRS? Were you
yes, I've played PRS for 12 years. It's my favorite
So that
guitar.
didn't hurt
I
either.
have it tattooed on my arm. So
Awesome.
the birds, not
we
the
go
whole
to
guitar.
NAMM, we just call that the museum, It's such a
Yes,
beautiful space.
I love going in there. And they're just beautiful guitars. They play like butter, and so it's still who you know business. It's still
Right.
who you know business. Oh, there I am.
We like it.
Was I off the whole time? Do I have to start over? Okay.
No, you didn't.
Hi.
We've had you. You're in there.
Hopefully our listeners can hear
Well,
everything she was saying at home.
I'm really glad to hear, though, that when you say, you can't, there's so much talent out there. And I think a lot of the people I work with at Studio CCMA and even all the students we work with, are like, well, I'm amazing. They're gonna stumble across me. Wait till they get a load of me, which I pray to the music gods, yay for you if it does. But ultimately, like what I'm hearing is really seek out where you match. If you're a country band, go open for rappers.
Exactly.
And
And go where country bands are welcomed, because otherwise you're going to feel like a failure, and you may give up, and you shouldn't. On the other hand, maybe you should. So there are, and I'm not even, I say that kind of kidding, but sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I tell people, you're just not ready. I've had to let band members go for reasons that they're just at this, and I think that everybody has a place that they're at that moment, and sometimes you're not ready for that. However, when an opportunity does come, that's where the hard work comes in. If you get an opportunity to record an album or do a tour or get an endorsement or whatever it is, you better have your stuff ready to go.
That's what I'm hearing.
Now,
And you need to work, and especially girls, and I'm going to say this, I don't throw out the girl card too much, but my comment is typically, I got to work twice as hard to be considered half as good.
Yep.
And, I'm getting ready to go to Germany. I'm picking up a whole band there. They've never played with me before.
Right.
And, I can even hear in the email they're being great, but they're like, well, can you do this? Yeah, I can do that.
Now, Lori, I know just the other night you were playing with a band that was a new group, other than your lovely husband. But you had a really nice team with you. And so when you decide to put together a group, that's local. That was right here in North County, y'all. So you can see some good music in North County. Oh my gosh. But it was really exciting to see that you had taken up some new players, put together a few rehearsals, and put together a session. So how did that come about? And do you feel like you have the same struggles of saying, no, really, I'm this awesome, hello, do you have to wear your resume on your sleeve, do you find? Or do they come full circle and say, yeah, let's do this, sweetheart?
I've really had to reinvent myself because after Mamas and Papas, I had to find that there was life after Mamas and Papas. After you're in a international known group like that, doing what we did, playing the places we played, reinventing was something I've had to do, and it's taken me a while to actually find out.
Can we hear more about that when we go into our next session, Tracey?
Yes, we sure can.
I'm too curious.
Yes, now when we come back, we're going to hear more about that. And we were also going to talk to them about their adventures, some of the stories from their storied careers. So I can't wait. We'll be right back.
Hey, it's Catherine from Listen Local Radio.
Catherine! Yeah, they're
Now, normally right here, if you watch the red, it'll blink red. We're within 1 minute. So I was thinking of Beth, why are you asking a question with 30 seconds?
How are you, Randy?
Well, I thought it was, it's all good. It's all
Can you hear your awesome guitar picks on you?
It's all good. It's all good. It goes right back. We'll just go right back into directly what we were talking about. No.
Never mind when I come back. I think my first gig back here is Biggs Harley.
I
was thinking 2 minutes.
No.
Kalina,
There's a chair for Rolling the Stones there. They paid
I'm too freaked out.
Yeah, they did.
They gave me 800 to do sound.
No, they're great guys. I love Biggs. It's my favorite Harley place, really. They're cool to their musicians. What?
Brad, I was saying hey, Brad.
I just came by so I could drop this off to you. That's the leaves in that one. That's the one that he did for me.
Oh, okay, that's what he's been looking for.
Yeah,
So you put my husband in his book.
Oh my gosh, how super cool.
But anyway.
Hang out, watch the rest of the show.
Okay, sure. I can't get in any more trouble tonight.
No, we'll talk a little bit.
Yes, you can. It's early.
Ronnie's also in that book, yep.
So I can.
Oh my gosh, stupid awesome.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that's Band Together. I think I was the first Band Together. He did one.
Yeah, now this is the second one because
And they Play Like a Girl.
My husband Lee's in there in this one. There he is.
Wow,
See?
Lee.
Great pick.
He's on like
That's his I've been his master bass. He's got 4-digit serial number on the master bass.
This is supercalifragilistic. This is so cool. I'm like
Aw,
super happy right now.
Barbie. He's got such a great, he's just, his books are they really attract people.
Yes.
I've got mine laying on my table, and he comes in, and people come in, they go, what's that? And they love it. It's just eye-catching.
It's
Because
true. Everybody that comes on
we all kind of we're all like kids, shiny stuff attracts us.
Yeah. So when we come back, we can finish up with a little bit
Awesome.
of what they're saying,
Thank you.
bringing some of these artists, and if they were just from church or friends or community or old friends or what you pulled together. Because to me, that's really intriguing. And I'm the only one in my band with a degree in music. And they're always like, do you know what you're doing?
Yeah, I know.
It's like, exactly. So I find that,
I don't think you would play in a band really with anybody that treated you that way. Like these guys, like I said over there, I don't know them, and once we get together, everything will be cool. But you always sense that a little bit, But I know everybody that Lori plays with, I've never seen anybody treat you like that.
Well, that's why you just go in there. That's why you just go in there
that's
and
a
break
different
some nose off and kill them, and then they say, "Wow."
You know what? It's just a matter of being ready and being good.
Yeah.
I don't
Your
I
job.
don't go anywhere with a chip on my shoulder about being a girl. I just play well. And
You do.
Do your thing.
I was talking to
All right, I
Gary
got
all night about
13
it.
seconds.
13?
Yeah, we're going back.
No, talk to me.
Let me take a second just to tell some of our sponsors.
Yeah, I got thicker ones.
Over 35 years of helping
We just have
girls
30
and
seconds.
guys rock. Lowe's
I
Guitars.
ordered them wrong. I had to reorder them.
Let's wait.
My husband actually created this along with our producer Paul, and Tino put the drums down on drum track.
should
But
be
this
having
was my
girls
vision.
play that. So.
This was my vision, this song. I created it. All right, excellent. We are back. We are back. We are
We're
back.
so back.
I have to take 30 seconds just to say that we are having a contest. So Mike Ruggiello, as you all know, is a guitar instructor over at the Rock and Roll San Diego. And he is willing to give out a free lesson because that's what he does. He's a sponsor of our show. And we're going to have a contest. So sometime after this show, I'm going to get on my phone. I'm going to type in really quickly something. And you're going to have to answer that question. And the first person that answers that question on the Girls Talk Rock Facebook page will win that guitar lesson from Mr. Mike.
You can do no wrong.
Is that amazing?
It's got to pay attention.
Ronnie,
Say
you
his
think you
last
need it?
Say his last name again.
Ruggiello.
Okay.
It sounds like it tastes good.
I know,
Doesn't it?
I know, it's sexy.
Sounds like ice
Again,
cream.
Naughty
I agree.
Bethy, but Ruggiello.
Ruggiello.
All right, let's
What
get-
flavor do you want? Ruggiello.
Exactly.
That's right.
Is he cute?
He is.
It is.
Ronnie, you should get that
I
guitar
could use
lesson.
it. We could all be a little better, couldn't we?
We all could. We all could.
Talk to me.
Talk to me.
Well, we left off with
Yes.
Lori. We were talking about doing pickup session musicians. We know that Ronnie, you're going to be in Germany. You got some session musicians waiting for you there. And Lori, you were just here locally, right up in North County, with a group, and that you just rehearsed with. And tell us about putting them together and having the confidence in them to say, okay,
Bossing boys around.
yeah, let's tell them.
Yeah, well, first of all, Mike Harris, who has played in my worship team sometimes. I actually play in a worship team at my church.
Right? I'm reading about that.
Yes, in La Mesa at Windsor Hills Community Church.
There you go.
on
Shout
Orion
out.
Street. Every Sunday morning. Okay, and of course Mike is also a good friend of Ronnie's. I actually met him through Ronnie, and he's just an amazing drummer, and he can pretty much play anything, and so I really trust him a lot. My husband, of course, and I have been working together musically, and so. My husband's best friends, Roger Bacchial and Terry Palmer, these guys are just really, really good players, and through the years I've used them on my recordings. So I just kind of said, hey guys, how do you feel about doing this? So we got together for one rehearsal Wednesday, and we played live on Sunday, and it's just that I knew that they could do it because they're just that good. I mean, I could do the same with Ronnie. I could call Ronnie and say, Ronnie, I'm doing a gig, will you play? And of course, if she would say yes, because she's such a busy girl.
If I'm
number
here, I
number one, she's a busy girl. I mean, even on some of my jazz gigs, she's come in, and Ronnie is not a jazzer, but
Right.
she can come in there, and
I'm a crossover.
She can do the jazzy thing.
We scatted
We
together many
scatted
times.
together.
Awesome.
And I taught her how to scat.
See, I can't remember words. I scat. Anyway, so that's how.
After a couple glasses of
La, la, la.
wine, she does a great job scatting. It doesn't.
Speaking of that, no, I'm good.
Well, a musician is a musician is a musician, right? So,
Exactly.
we're really trying to, I know that working with other musicians, learning when to give and give in and how to work together is often one of the biggest challenges.
Well, you know what
bands
makes you a
have.
good musician is playing with musicians that are better than yourself, and that's where I started out. Because as a young girl, besides playing with all those bands I played with as a kid, we've all done that. I joined a Dixieland jazz band, and these guys were all very, very, very seasoned players, all in their 30s and 40s, and I was just a teenager. And I was the eye candy kid. You know, I was the one playing piano. I barely knew 3 chords, but, you know, pretty much all those jazz tunes, the Dixieland jazz tunes are the 1-4-5 changes. And, you know, I just kind of picked it up, and we
She
kind of
was the chick in the Partridge Family.
Well,
I like that
that was pitch blend because we drove my mother drove the
What's
school
different about
bus.
what you know, back then, of course, you were looking just to participate and to be involved. And now, as a seasoned player yourself, do you look for specifics with them? You know, whether they're going to like do things a certain way, have a certain swing, if your
Yes.
drummer is going to be able to play with a click. Are there things that you find
Well,
that are
my
priority
thing
for you?
is, and see, and Lori's the same way. This is what we do have in common: is we're both band leaders.
Yeah.
And it's like any organization, you know. My say is the last say. I mean, I'll listen to anything anybody has to say, but because really the responsibility is on me as far as the performance, as far as everything else. If the Roni Lee group does a bad night, they don't go, that bass player. I mean,
Darn
they're going to
it.
go, the Roni Lee group sucked, you know. So
Sure,
it's-
Yeah, they're not going to hire you back again.
Right, and
Yeah.
so if I'm wrong, at least it's on me.
Right.
And so the thing that I look for when I'm playing with musicians, and I look for people that listen.
Right.
If you're gonna blast through something, like if I'm trying to bring things down, because I play with different musicians. When I go to Seattle, I play with different musicians. When I go to Las Vegas, I play with different musicians. I'm trying to set up something right now at the Baked Potato with Kenny Arnoff and myself and all these great players that we just finished that album.
Cool.
They're gonna be all different musicians. Guess what? They're all have in common. They all pay attention to what everybody else is playing.
Right.
And they're not trying to drive through like a steamroller and go, listen to me. You know, there's always time for that. And I played with a 14-year-old kid the other day, Anthony Collins.
That's
It
right.
was wonderful.
That kid, I'm going to tell you right now, Anthony, if you're listening,
The
listen to this.
Fallbrook kid.
The Fallbrook kid.
That's right.
I have never played with anybody even remotely that age that has ever listened the way he listened.
Yeah, and-
when
and
other
is that
people
good?
played, he dropped down. These are things that you don't usually learn until you've played for 20 years.
Right.
And hopefully you learn them faster, but I know a lot of people that don't. I mean, a lot of times if you have a quiet instrument on stage, I use violin lots of times, I don't even play. I'll pretend like I'm playing.
Right.
But I drop down so low that I'm just barely making a sound because I want that instrument. This is that moment for that person.
Let people shine.
And
Yeah,
and you'd
that's
be
true.
surprised how many people don't do that.
And Ronnie, you also take on a lot of musicians in town that you know, maybe are startups. They're not like top notch,
Right.
but they're good, and like you say, they're good listeners.
Yeah.
And
Right.
And you give them that whirl. You give them that.
Well, I try to give
chance.
people a boost, and I try to recognize the people that are working hard and that are willing to go. If I tell somebody, hey, I'm doing a show, if you want to drive up, you want to do this, if you want to put the effort out, you know, the payoff is good. I opened for Missing Persons, my really quick story, and it's like, why are you doing that? Why are you driving to Ramona? It's so far. You're selling tickets.
Right.
Why? I go, because you never know.
It's a fun
And you
show.
always say yes.
Yeah.
And guess what? She got the second song. I sang for her all night. I sang
Awesome.
all of her songs. The
Awesome.
audience gave me the lyrics on their cell phones because I didn't know them all.
Awesome.
And we had a great time, and nobody asked for their money back.
That's
We've
right.
all remained friends since then.
Right.
And it's opened up a whole lot of doors with some of the things that I've done. So you can never know what you're going to
Well, that's
run
a
into.
good segue into your Play Like a Girl and some of the individuals that you're bringing up through that.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you tell us about some of the people that you're bringing up through that organization that are right now here in San Diego?
Well, again, what I look for in Play Like a Girl is people that really had that special something, and any label does that. I have a rock tip, in fact, on record labels. And record labels don't sign people that are music followers. They sign people that are music leaders.
That's right.
They want to sign someone that's going to be unique and different. You're going to have 80 people come after that do that now because they see it be successful. And they also, this is quite the truth, they don't sign older artists because of the longevity, just purely the longevity. There's usually certain legacy things that they'll work with. But, you know, so you're looking for, I'm sorry to say, you're looking for young,
That's right.
you're looking for super talented, and you're looking for somebody who's ready to put their money and their efforts and their time in where their mouth is. And that's hard. That whole package has to be there.
It's a tough package.
It's a very tough package.
Finding young
Yeah.
people, any person with a musician with a work ethic, to kind of see it
And
through.
a talent.
And so I've got a 15-year-old writer, Caden Cashmere. I have Elena Blair that I've been working with. Lori Lewis. So Lori's getting ready to do her album. So I just said it has to be young, it has to be this. everything in life has an exception.
Right.
Lori has just got some great music. She's a great writer. We've co-written a number of things. And every label has to have those things where you foray into just the talent that you see.
Right.
So, you know, while that's going to be the general criteria, but remember, there's I've worked with other people that I just didn't think were ready.
Right.
And I've told them that. I said, I don't think you're ready because you don't have all the components. One of them's money.
And are you really putting your mouth where your mouth, your money where your
Yeah.
mouth is, as they say. But
Yeah.
really, when it comes to that, and it's interesting, we're coming to talk about Lori performing live. Of course, you're producing new talent or trying to get them in the mix, and trying to make sure they're seen and heard and have the right sound and arrangements and all that. What do you find is your biggest hurdle with working with artists, with working with an album? Do they want to not play out more? Do they want to just record and see if magic happens?
My biggest hurdle is when they say no.
They say no.
It bugs
No,
me.
not today.
I'm like, why? Why?
Yeah, why are you
why,
here?
why are you not out? Why are you not out? See, because if you don't go 150% in this business, you might as well just not do it.
Well,
I mean-
is it about playing out with you, or is it about cutting an album? and-
Everything.
And getting
It's everything. You can't do
Okay.
one without the other. That's what's so hard about this business, to be quite honest with you. That's why I say you have to focus on the now and make sure that your priorities are not ignored, because you could very easily hurt people around you because it's such a consuming. Lori and I
Yes.
talked about this today. It's very consuming. So you got to kind of meditate. If you pray, you got to pray. If you meditate, you got to meditate. You got to get that moment of clarity every day and go, am I doing this the right way? But you got to stay moving forward. When you're doing an album, you got to do the social media. You can't let anything go in music business. It's really weird. It sucks.
That's right.
but
And
that's
you
what it
have to
is.
treat it like a business, which is exactly
Absolutely.
what it is.
You got to be smart. You got to be,
I'd like to know, as we're getting ready toward the end of the segue here, but Lori, as we go into it, you guys are talking about doing collaboration together, and I think I want to hear about. I know our listeners want to know the kind of things that you're going to be playing out live from that album.
We have a
So
song
talk
here
about that.
today, actually.
Excellent. That's what I want to know all about.
And we're
Okay.
gonna roll that song in the fourth quarter.
Fourth quarter.
I'm in the
Play
football.
ball.
Yeah.
Oh wait, that's a
Go
different
Chargers.
thing.
All right, now we'll be
I don't
back
know.
in just a minute.
Innings. I don't know.
So, all right, thank you to our sponsors, Moe's Guitars, California Music Studio, CCMA, and Mike Ruggiero.
Yellow.
We'll be right back.
Quarters and
My wife's
baseball.
gonna be like,
I'm a
"Give her name
sports
and ice cream
fan.
Can you
after
tell me and my mom play a football pool where we put in $5 each week and we have the chance to win $125.
Here I am, all worried about how guys treat girls. I'm like, yeah, sports suck. Okay, so
Is this Randy?
Could be.
This already. Oh,
All right, so Tina, how are we
This
doing?
is you.
Are we
You
just gonna
posted
go
it.
straight in with some
You're so
music?
good. You're so quick.
she does the social media for
Can we
Play
do
Like
that?
a
We
Girl,
have to
right?
be friends.
I don't
Can
have
we-
a friend.
I have one I posted.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Work with me.
Heroes
Please
is
be
the
my
one
friend.
that we co-wrote.
So play Heroes.
Heroes.
All right.
All right, let's just do
What's
like,
the title
let's just do
track?
like
With the Heroes.
one minute of heroes coming into the to
Yeah.
What?
And don't forget, Ronnie did a track for a television show.
Yeah, I was
That's right.
telling him about it.
We gotta talk about that.
We talked about it before, but not during.
Oh yeah.
There it is.
All
Because
right.
of you, I told him because.
What are we gonna do this at 4
Somehow they-
minutes? 3.5
Didn't
minutes?
they contact you and you contacted them?
We'll do this at 2 minutes.
Okay, get your number.
I'm gonna cue you at 2.5.
Everybody's got my number. Ask it out, buddy.
What can I do? Hi.
Welcome to
Welcome to Girls Talk Rock.
By the way, your last name was, I was in Venus and the Razor Blades, so that's kind of cool.
Isn't that awesome? I was thinking that, and you worked
named
with
after
she
you.
said
and you
something
worked
about
with somebody with the last name Mars too.
Wait, when Lori said something
No,
about
his first name's
Buckingham,
Mars Bonfire.
Mars Bonfire.
when Lori, when you said something about Buckingham, that's my grandmother's maiden name, Buckingham.
Oh, really?
From England.
Oh my gosh.
We should get a house together. Okay,
should.
it's a done deal.
All right,
I'm getting your picture. I'm scoping you. We're skateboarding.
Get in here, Ronnie.
Come on, Ronnie. We have a whole.
They've never asked.
You gotta get in here, get in here.
Let me get a picture.
Like, my hair's all yucky because I washed it, but I didn't flat iron it. It sucks.
Let me get that shot too when you're
There
ready.
is girl things that
Ronnie. Okay, hold on.
bragging about Progressive Medical Center and how they've helped me.
Okay. All right.
Okay, wait, everybody look at me. real
yeah,
quick.
yeah.
Oh, no, okay.
Now the good picture. Skinny side.
Okay, ready? On 3. 1, 2, 3.
Progressive Medical Center.
Okay.
Good, good. All right.
Yeah, I've always said, I've been a very long time, and I kept my lesson.
You know, can you imagine what Cass Elliot must have been through being, you know, a woman of her size and
Oh, the
being
judgment.
standing next to little tiny itty bitty Michelle Phillips.
Yeah. Right?
Just being in that whole scene and
What a mess. I mean, it's.
I think everybody respected her so much for her talent that
But
nobody
still, it's
recognized.
the judgment is
look
there.
at this one. Oh, is that great?
That's a good one.
Oh my gosh.
Cool, send it out on the air right now. We are live on Girls Talk
We're
Rock.
doing it.
We got 20
This
seconds for
sucks.
Max.
I think we're gonna go out drinking real soon. That's what
That sucks.
Except that
Well,
on
I've been
three.
on this crazy diet. I've had a personal trainer working on me out every day, getting ready for this
so
thing,
good.
and that's why I'm a mess. Sorry.
No,
No,
you're
it's all good.
perfect.
But I gotta.
Perfect.
It's so hard to get
Well, she
things
is a
back
mess,
into
but-
things. When
I'm
you're
going to
not.
Michigan next week. I'm doing a
25.
show in Michigan.
We're back
Oh,
in
you're going to Michigan. It's gonna be
Yeah.
cold.
now.
Yeah, I'm going to be showing this Sunday.
Girls and guys.
Are you going to let me announce it or just go right straight into it?
This will be the first time it's ever played on the radio.
We got to say that.
So I just picked it up 2 days ago.
Musicians creativity finds its voice. Here are your hosts, Tracey Smith and Beth Venus.
All right, we are back for segment number 4. Oh, wait.
Ooh. Ooh.
There we go.
No one.
Are we friends?
I don't think we are. We need to be.
Are we friends?
Oh shoot. Oh goodness, thinking. Thinking. That's so sad. It's taking so long to think.
All right, that is Heroes. That's
That's
Roni
Heroes.
Lee's new hit, and man, that is amazing. That is such a cranking song.
I was
Thank
just slapping it.
We
I was
get
like,
we get
"Ah."
rocking on that one. It's fun.
I like it.
Perfect. Now, where can we find that?
Well, it's nowhere at the moment.
Right. So
Because it's not out yet. Here's what the funny thing is it was supposed to be out before my Germany thing. We weren't able to finish because there's one more song that's going on it. So because I have such an awesome team at Spitfire Studios up in LA and Warren Hewart, I said, Warren, give me 5 songs on an EP so I can take it to Germany. So right now, the only way you can get it is to know me personally because I have 50 CDs and that's it. And then I get back and we'll finish it and it'll go on. I brought you guys too.
You have one. You have one. I don't even
Yes.
have one.
let me let you guys in on a little secret. Girls Talk Rock has a copy of it.
Ooh.
I feel it's a special thing. You know, this is some. I love it to hear the rock and the roll. You know, you guys. Everybody here in North County knows I'm in a cover band. You know, and every time I get the chance to do some rock and roll, I'm so happy.
Boom.
And people don't realize that us ladies love to rumble too. So seeing you do it the way you do is awesome.
Anytime I'm doing a longer show, like I'm doing Big Harley when I get back on the 21st of November, I mean, I do 3 sets, you know, and I bring people up on stage with me all the time. I have a pretty open stage. If I'm doing a show and it's a thing and it's special and da-da-da, then probably not. But, you know, I a lot of times I let people come up and have their 10 minutes with me, you know, it's fun.
It is. That's amazing to bring the community into it because at WS Radio and Girls Talk Rock, we are all about the community, as you know, the community and social media manager. So, building the community, networking, giving others a leg up and a handout is what it's all about. I mean, that is the business.
Well, I think we left off. We were talking about you're heading to Michigan.
I'm
Lori's-
going to Michigan.
You're going to Michigan. You're going to Germany. What is the most exciting place? Now, this is here in San Diego. Of course, I'm talking because I really want to promote how awesome the music scene is in San Diego. But given your withers, where do you like to play when you're here in San Diego County? Do you have some favorite places you like to hit up, or that are the places that you're like, gosh darn it, why aren't they bringing? That we should be asking and begging the talent buyers to bring artists like you guys into our scene to make sure that you're part of the scene, because it really is on demand here. We have to really make it.
It's a funny place here. I play Ramona Main Stage quite a bit. I've played Brick by Brick because I'm more of an arena rocker style thing. So it's kind of whatever you play. Lori isn't the same kind, although she's played plenty of them and she's been on stage with me as well. She's played with me quite a few times recently. But for instance, there's a club in Solana Beach that will remain nameless. That's a pretty big deal, and they've never reached out. I've reached out to them, and
I was thinking you were talking about Larry's Beach Club because you play
Larry's
there a
Beach
lot.
Club. I do play a lot.
I know, I was kidding.
And you know what it is? There's certain clubs. They're managed by such wonderful people.
Right.
And
Steve
Menzel there is just a doll, and I would play his club anytime. In fact, we're working out something for New Year's that we might possibly use.
So you heard it here first on Girls Talk Rock.
Well, sometimes to get a gig like you're mentioning, sometimes you just need to go to that place and just kind of belly up to the bar. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's belly right up there, huh?
Well, do you guys find though that sometimes the talent buyers are not familiar with the history?
I've been nominated Best Hard Rock Band in this town for the last 2 years, and I was featured in the Reader many times. This last week as well. So, they know who you are. It's sometimes I don't actually have any feelings one way or the other. I have plenty of places to play, and like I said, I usually fly out and play. I do know that the place down in Little Italy has opened up again.
Yes. Now we're talking about the music.
Keep calling
box.
it the cat box, but that's not it.
It's the music box.
It's the music box.
Yes.
So I love. Here's my criteria. If you come to watch me play or the band play, I'm all for it. I don't care what the walls look like.
Right.
If you're there for background music while you're having a cheeseburger and a beer, that's not for me.
It doesn't work.
Although that's part of working, and believe me, I've done many of them.
It all, I'm sure.
And I've put my time in on that. But my criteria for playing as much as possible is, I'm there to it's a performance, and I want people to come because they want to see the music. And I think any successful venue is going to recognize that good bands bring people in. Putting bands up there that sell more tickets or are related to your wife, all those kinds of bands are not, and the genres are completely diverse. It's a group effort when you're putting on a show. It's the fans, it's the band, it's the promoters, it's the venue,
and the energy of the people that you're working with.
Now, I was going to say we don't have very much time left, so I'm thinking that the fans want to know, let's hear a good story or something from when you were on the road. Yeah, we will.
Yeah.
Lori
has some stories about being naked.
I have a million, but I want to address what Ronnie was just talking about venues, because for me, in San Diego, I just want to kind of reiterate a little bit. I've done my years and years and years of touring and doing a lot of big shows with a lot of big groups, Gary Puckett and the Buckinghams and Mamas and Papas and, all of the touring stuff. And, I kind of got out of that playing in the church thing for a while and just kind of kicking back because the road thing really, I was just really done with the road.
It's exhausting.
And yes, but for me, the things that I've done in the past few years have always been the bigger venues, a couple of years ago, I did this huge thing with Rockers the Rockers of St. Jude with Dick Wagner, and about every rocker you can think of did this big recording at Warren with Warren Hewart as producer and Dick Wagner, who just passed away, and all the people from Vanilla Fudge. And I mean, this thing was huge. It was a song we did, and YouTube did it and put it out, and. Then every year there's a memorial concert that they do for Dick Wagner, and this February I'll be on that show. Actually, I'll be arranging and being lead background vocal arranger, and I'll be working with the vocalist.
What is that? What is the date on that?
That will be February 20th. It's in Detroit, Michigan.
Everybody fly out to
and
Detroit.
Yeah, Detroit.
It's huge. You got Mark Farner, you got Alice Cooper, you've got all of the Terry Knight from the Pack. There's just tons of people from the area.
So the club's here.
No, we got to ask you guys something. I hate to say this, but we've got looking at 30
Yeah, well, I was going to
seconds.
say that.
30 seconds.
And our
It's
team
done.
here, we have this something called the Quattro questions. We're going to close out with, and we need you guys to close out really quick. with
Quickly.
Just, so, Ronnie, describe yourself in one word.
Very energetic.
That's not one.
Lori.
Tenacious.
Oh, okay. If you were food, what would you be, ladies?
Oh my gosh, potatoes.
Potatoes. If you were a song.
Rock and roll hoochie coo.
Of course.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, she's stumped. All right,
wanna know.
if your life had a movie title, what would it be?
Oh, Pretty Woman.
There you go.
I like it.
Oh my God! Well, this
like
has been
it.
a fabulous
The Vampire
episode.
Diaries.
We are totally out. I'm sorry, guys. We will be back next week with a really killer guest. See you later.
I
my
just said
God.
check out Rock.
That came down way too fast.
So was that last segment Uber short?
I like those morphing movies where you start out a hooker and you end up still a hooker.
I want to look. So we need to put on our page your link to your rock tips.
Yes.
So because that's really what
The rock tips really are helpful. I mean, they're short and they're sweet and there's a whole SoundCloud of them, so
I think
people
that's so
can
important.
pick out.
Like that's something they can.
It's so funny. You know how many times people ask me things? I go, I do the rock tip on that. Listen to it.
Right.
I talk about publishing companies. I talk about indie labels. I talk about all kinds of stuff that people are like. How does that work? How does this
Ronnie
work?
just needs to have her own radio show. I just sort of
Well, we can offer that here at WS. You realize that, right?
It's something. She's like,
You just,
oh my
you just
gosh.
need to talk to Tino about that. Hey, Tino, Ronnie's thinking about starting her own radio show here at WS. Is that cool with you?
We talked about that.
Yeah, we did.
Get some time, girl. No more down.
Let's see. There's that comment again. When you get some time.
Time.
You know what happens? You know how I end up doing things? People just do them, and I show up, and it happens.
Make it so.
That is really how I.
Well, we've got such a neat fan base here too, and we want to
If
get some
people are waiting
pictures.
for me to say yes, it just takes
wait a
forever.
minute. Yes, and yes, and yes. You've got something to sign. Oh,
Can you autograph my merch? I'm gonna sell it on eBay.
Oh,
Chicks gotta make money somehow.
Girl's gotta live. She's so cute though too. It's like, oh my gosh,
So
this is the
I'm right
best.
here. History Day. How
So
funny.
cute. I can't tell you how I am to see you guys.
Kalina. Oh, that's is that
me.
K-A?
Kalina.
She's Kalina Justice. What a name, huh? I think it's a great performance name. I do.
Yeah, taking it.
I know, because like Beth Venus is like not happening. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like-
right.
No, it's like no, but yeah, I just like I'm a very liking your name. Very
So
cool.
inspired. I learned so much. What an awesome treat.
Funny
I knew this was
tips.
going to be magic, and I was right.
Now you know where to get her tips. Now you know where to get her tips.
Oh, I know. Are you kidding
On,
me?
and you know what? Also, if you could put a link up to Roni Lee Rocks Christmas.com. That's going to be our benefit this year. This is our third year, and we'll be back at Telia's. Our first year we were at Telia's, and we should have never left. But this year it's going to benefit San Diego Christian Servicemen, and they feed the families of the deployed servicemen once a month, and along with bonds. And they're a really small organization. So this year we're going to be benefiting them, and that'll be December 13th. There's going to be some great. We have the Sisters of Swing, which is an Andrews Sisters.
Cool. So cool.
And It's a Wonderful Life is the theme. I mean, it's very, very cool. It's not all just like horns and rock. It's,
Right, okay.
It's jazz and swing, and
Everything.
we've got some wonderful players this year. So it'll be a lot of fun.
Oh, no, you know me.
Of course, Santa.
I'll totally promote it.
She'll be like,
That's what I do.
talking about it nonstop.
I promote it.
Yeah. So
Another
that's
show.
Right?
We do. We needed 2 hours for you guys.
We've been talking about that, like 2 hours to be like, because we're.
Well, just for certain shows, because some guests are cool with an hour, but certain guests, we could have had SJ on for 2 hours.
Yeah, SJ.
There's a couple people we could have had on for 2 hours easily. Yeah, sorry.
Well, it's hard to have two talkative girls on too, because